Hey, it's Jeff at Barbecue Plus, and today we are gonna talk turkey. Yep, Thanksgiving's coming up, and I've got a great option for you on how to do your turkey this year. We put a great Cajun injection inside of a turkey, put it on the pellet smoker. It turned out wonderful. Watch exactly how we did it. It's Jeff with Barbecue Plus, and today is turkey time. So we have got a 11.5-pound turkey. This was a frozen turkey. Bought this about a week ago. So I put it in a container, put it in the refrigerator to make sure it's all the way thawed. If you haven't purchased your turkey yet, you better do so. And if it's frozen as opposed to fresh, better make sure you get that thing on defrost. So here we are with our honeysuckle white turkey. What we're going to do with this is a little bit different. We're not going to cook it in the traditional way. What we're going to do is spatchcock it. So that means to flatten it out. We're going to remove the backbone and flatten the whole thing out. We're going to put it in our Yoder smoker, and that's going to be how we're going to cook it up. It will cook a little bit more evenly. What I found a lot of times is you get dry white meat in the breast by the time that the legs and the thighs are done. So this is going to cook it more evenly, and everything should be done about the same time. We're going to take the giblets out. This is a great kitchen shears that I picked up off Amazon. Really looking forward to using this to do the spatchcock, because we got to cut through this backbone, and those things can be really tough, especially on a turkey. Chicken's not so bad, but with a turkey you really need to make sure that you've got something pretty heavy duty to be able to get through that. All right, so now we're ready for the spatchcock, and that just means we're going to cut right along here on this backbone and take this backbone out. Then we're going to flip it over and just flatten the whole thing out and get it ready to cook. We're going to inject it with a marinade that I picked up from my local grocery store. All right, so step one is to cut right down this backbone. There we go. So there's that backbone. Just cut through all the rib bones and everything all the way through there. There's a little bit of meat on here. We're not going to worry about it. We're just going to set that aside, and then we're going to finish the spatchcock. So right here is the breastbone, right down through the middle. So just going to take a good knife, give a little bit of cut right in the middle there. So that'll help us to really flatten this out. We're going to turn it over, and hear that little crunchy crack? Well, that did exactly what we needed. Going to take these wings, tuck them underneath here on both sides, and that is our spatchcock bird. So we could put that on right now, but what we're going to do is we're going to put in a little bit of marinade. We're going to inject this. This is a New Orleans marinade. Tony Ketchers, I believe is how it's pronounced. I've used their seasonings also. It's great on eggs or whatever you're cooking for breakfast. Love that. Make sure you shake these up if you use a pre-made marinade, so that way everything gets distributed all the way through. Bring all that goodness in there, and we're just going to go into various parts of this bird to plump it up with that great flavor. This is a Cajun butter. Wow, I can just see it going all the way through there as it plumps it up. Yeah, we'll see if we can get a little bit into the wings here. Not a lot of meat, so we're probably just going to try to get a half a syringe into each one of those. I don't think it'll even take that much. So if you watch any of my other videos in the past, I cooked outside quite a bit. I built this structure now, getting a back wall in there. Going to be doing some additional work on that. For here in my smokehouse, I've got a bunch of different smokers. I've got charcoal, I've got pellet, I've got verticals. I've got this offset that's over here behind me. Cooking with lots of different things, and well, it's raining right now, pretty hard, and I am really glad that I'm in here. We're not going to use that entire bottle. I guess if you had like a 20-pound bird, you could use that, but maybe I'll make a Bloody Mary out of that. I don't know. What we're going to do as a next step is I'm going to use some of this Wing Magic. It's Fire and Smoke Society Wing Magic. Smoky lime wing rub. So just gonna put a little bit of this to give it a little bit of flavor also. We'll be basting this and putting some butter on it as well. Just any kind of a good poultry rub should be good for this, whatever you like. You know, I like the Meat Church products. I think they do a great job. All right, so now the only step is put it on the smoker. We've got the Yoder 640 going. I removed the top rack in here. Didn't need that, and a little bit easier to get a good view into it. So there we go. Our bird is ready to go. So this is a 640 Yoder that I just recently upgraded to the wireless controller. That way, since we're actually going to be doing some errands, going some places today, this can continue to run. I can monitor it on my phone, find out what the temperature of the pit is. I can actually raise and lower that. I'm going to start this out at about 225 just to really throw some good smoke on it. Then we're going to push it up to around 350 to finish it off. But since I can look at that internal temperature of the bird and I can see what the pit is doing remotely, this is really ideal. Make sure you have lots of pellets in there before you leave the house too. So we're running 269 in there. I'm going to take the probe, put the probe in there. I'm also going to go in and add my Inkbird 4 probe wireless controller as well. It connects to Wi-Fi, so that way it connects from here into the house, onto my Wi-Fi network, and then I can also monitor that remotely on my phone when we're out today. So all we have to do now is just be patient, stay on top of that with maybe a little bit of a butter that we're going to add a little bit later in the cook to give it a nice browning to it, and enjoy some great turkey. All right, here's a little check-in on the bird. It's looking pretty good. You can see I got a ton of probes in it. It looks like it's a patient that is under surveillance. So we've got an Inkbird over here with 4 probes in it, and then we've got a probe from the Yoder pit that's going in. So we've been running this right around a sub 200 point, and that has been for probably about 3 hours now, and we've kicked it up to right around 300 degrees. Going to let that go for about a half hour, and then we're going to kick it up higher to 375. We're going to do some basting on here so we can finish it off. Pellet supply looks good. We're using Kirkland. Those tend to do pretty well. So here's where we're at with that Fireboard application, which runs the Yoder Wi-Fi controller. And looks like it's set for 254. Showing right at 130 degrees on that internal probe. You can see the graph of where our temperatures were, kind of dropped down a little right around that 200 degree external, and then that darker orange, you see where the temperature climbed on the meat itself. We're going to crank this up to around 300 degrees and probably another half hour, and then we're going to kick it up to 375. Baste it up, we'll get some crispy skin on there and finish it off. All right, so we're about 3.5 hours in. We are set on this pit to 300 degrees. A little cool out here. And we're going to baste this up. So this is a little bit more of the marinade that we used. It's a butter-based marinade. So this should help add some good color. We're just going to make sure that that goes all over. So we have been running this on the bottom rack. We're just using this pizza peel to lift that bad boy up, and we're going to move it up to the top rack. I think this is going to be a good option because on the top rack now we're not going to be as close to the heat source down in the bottom here, but just give it a little bit more distance as we finish it off. Juices are running out nicely. All right, all of our probes are telling us it is just time to be able to be pulling this out. We're hitting 165, but we are going to check with this instant read thermometer and just give them a little probe and a little poke and find out exactly where they're at. $162, $159, $168. That's up at 170, so we're definitely there. 173 in that breast. 162. The little popper thing hasn't come out here yet, but I don't know if we're that worried about it. I think this looks good. All of these probes are showing that we're where we need to be, so we're gonna crank that all the way down, start pulling these probes out. Oh, we're seeing some good juice come right out of there. Yeah, I think this is going to be good. So we're going to pull this guy out. We're going to put it on under some aluminum foil, and then we're going to give it some time to rest, probably about a half hour or so. Then we're going to slice into it and find out how good this turkey turned out. I'm using my small pizza peel to lift that out. That's a good looking bird. That is really good looking. So we're just gonna lightly tent that, put something heavy on top of it, and we're gonna give it a half hour, check back in. All right, so you can see it's a little bit cold out here. I think this has been sitting underneath the aluminum foil tent for about a half hour now. Time to cut into it and see what we've got. So first thing I'm going to do is Cut one of these wings off. That looks pretty good. Let's just slice in. So there's a nice little taste there. That is really good. I've got a hint of smoke. It's not a ton of smoke, so that's good. The Cajun taste on that Cajun butter is really good. Got a nice crispy skin also. So I think that worked out well. Look at that. Nice and juicy. That is just wonderful stuff. It's tender. We've got a good skin on this. I think this was just a success all the way around. Yeah, that Cajun butter injection, definitely a winner. Skin came out great. Still juicy, not dried out, especially in that breast meat. That's what's important. Yeah, just look at that. Just gonna hang out here and eat this whole thing. So if you like what we're doing here, I'd appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It just gives you a reminder when I put out new content. Cooking up new things, maybe some grill repairs, lots of different ideas. You can hit the like, share it with your friends. And if you got any comments, put them down below. I'll make sure and respond to them. Hey, in the meantime, for Thanksgiving, you better figure out what you're gonna cook. If it's a Cajun brine turkey, you're gonna hit a home run if you follow exactly what I did. And from BBQ Plus, thanks for watching and happy Thanksgiving.